Good morning. I just got back to Mallorca yesterday after a very stressful drive with a couple of delays, but in the end we managed to catch the ferry and I am so happy to be here and back on the property. I am just drinking my first cortado, and as you might be able to see, I did bring a couple of things with me this time, and it was quite a heavy load. Actually, it's that heavy that I can't even lift it out of the car by myself, so I'm gonna wait for some friends to come over to help me to carry the 2 batteries of our brand new solar system.
Back in Switzerland, my dear friend Aurel helped me to choose the right setup for our needs. He pre-installed the whole system and explained me what I needed to do once I arrive in Mallorca. I don't know anything about photovoltaic, so it was super helpful to know someone who has done this before. For all the tech geeks out there, it's a 24 volt, 1200 watt complete system with 6 panels and 2 260 ampere hours batteries. The maximum continuous output is 3000 watt.
I am super excited to finally have electricity here soon, hopefully, fingers crossed. For those of you who don't know yet, we are completely off-grid here. On this property we don't have running water, we don't have electricity, and we don't even have a toilet or anything. So it's basically just a bare piece of land with a water tank on it. And until now I had to charge all my tools back in my apartment, which also is the reason why I only worked with battery power tools. But I have a couple of bigger construction projects planned for the next months, and so I'm really happy that we're gonna have electricity on site. That will make it much easier for us to work here. So if you want to see us building a composting toilet and an outdoor shower soon, make sure to follow our channel. But now I just can't wait to check on our new trees and see if they're all doing fine. My friend and neighbor Carlos took care of them during my absence, and I'm really grateful to have such nice neighbors here in this area, and that I can leave for work without having to worry about all my new babies. Or actually your babies, because all of the new trees have been sponsored, and all of the sponsors, you will get a postcard from your tree very, very soon. Nice to see how much all these trees have been growing during the 2 months that I've been gone, and also the trees that haven't been doing too great before I left. They seem to be doing just fine. This is variety bacon, sponsored by Daniel and Daniela Dunkel. Thank you so much for sponsoring this beautiful tree. And then of course we have second avocado, because avocados you have like 2 different types that need to fertilize each other. So we have another variety over here, sponsored by Roman. And this is the variety Haas, that's the one that you probably all know from the stores. And this got a bit chewed on. Some of the leaves have been eaten by bugs, but it seems to be doing well. and I tried to make like a shade construction before I left, which obviously doesn't really work that well, but yeah, it was like a last minute construction that I made, but I definitely need to improve that. Yeah, I promised you to talk more about the trees that I have chosen for this food forest and also how I decided to position them. So I'm just going to check on all the trees from top to bottom and introduce you to some of the plants that I've been putting here. Is already taking care of the weeds here in the back, and I'm sitting in the very first tree of the very first row, which is sponsored by my dear friend Michael. And this is a lemon tree. As you might see, there are already little lemons on the tree. So the plan here is to convert the old almond orchard into a food forest, implementing the syntropic farming method, which means that we will have all the different layers from a forest, meaning ground cover, bushes, herbs, trees, and up to high canopy trees, mixed within the old rows of the existing almond trees. It is quite hard to see the rows of the almond trees from the ground, but I guess you might be able to see them from our drone footage. Some of the almond trees have died over the past years where nobody took care of this property. So in some of the rows we added more trees than in others. But basically they're always about 4 to 5 meters apart. Most of the fruit trees that we've planted aren't growing very tall, but we did add a couple of tall trees to provide us with shade. I chose different varieties that are obviously going to make it in this Mediterranean climate, and some of them are more on the tropical side, which are more experimental, and these are the ones that I got gifted from friends. We'll see if they're gonna survive. They will be fed with grey water from our outdoor shower that we're gonna build soon, so I hope that this will give them the resources that they need. We put a little bit of mulch to cover the root systems of all of our trees, and we did plant a couple of other things to give us a green mulch, like this pumpkin right here. That's a quince tree, by the way, sponsored by Andreas and his son Aaron. Of course, this doesn't look like a forest yet at all. We only managed to plant all the trees, and we haven't been planting a lot of the other layers.
The first step to convert this monoculture into a syntropic food forest was to plant a variety of new trees in between the rows. In autumn, we will add more bushes, vines and herbs in between the trees. Once the plants grow up, they will all benefit from each other. Some provide shade, others nitrogen, mulch, and of course a harvest for us.
I kept the original layout of the almond tree rows because they're already in a quite good position, meaning that they are almost on contour, which is very important to capture all the runoff from the rainwater that we will desperately need for these plants to survive. As soon as I finish the more important work of building toilets and showers, we will get to build our first berms that we will add below every row of fruit trees. This row you can already see like what we have planned. So here you can see all the new trees following the line of the old almond trees there in the back. And here are all the rocks that the digger took out to actually be able to plant these trees. And these rocks we're gonna lay out in a berm on the lower side of the rows of trees. This will help to slow down the rain and to accumulate organic matter above the berm. Later that day, Laura and Eve arrived to help me unload the heavy batteries from my car, and we installed a brand new solar system together. And just like that, we have power. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and check out our website if you're interested in sponsoring our project. See you next time.